right, show me the money. NFL picks for week 18 are here. The 2024 regular season coming to a close. The NFL is calling it now the season finale this weekend. Join me today to complete the Sorry to Interrupt trilogy here from on the podcast this season with the picks. Tom Bocchino is here. Tom, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. Happy New Year. We were already saying, and it's both of our first pods of the year, so that's pretty cool. You brought me on for, I would argue, the toughest week of the year. So thank you for that.
Yeah, well, I wanted somebody good here for the Jet funeral, so
Yeah, listen, it's a long time coming. It's Is this your toughest year as a Jets fan, do you think? I mean, I'm so like desensitized that I couldn't even tell you.
I've said this to people off the air. I think you'll agree with this. Of my fandom lifetime, like which I think go back to '98, this is the most unlikable Jets team I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean that's easily. I mean, I
2016 is close, but this one's up there.
Yeah, even the guys that we loved, obviously the young guys, it's like we're pissed off at them too. So I completely agree with you. I mean, I said the theory on my pod yesterday with my guy Ryan that I think Rodgers came in. I'm sure you saw it on the internet. He just hated Woody Johnson and he just wanted to sabotage it because of the vaccine. Any theory is believable now with this guy.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the point, where like Brick Johnson is influencing trades based on Madden ratings. So who knows?
It's That's why I think we might. Do you think we're the worst franchise? Just like obviously, there's a lot of crap franchises down at the bottom right now, but I just think like the off the field stuff is kind of puts us over the top.
Yeah, it's pretty bad because you look at some of the reports coming out of here. There's always somebody with an axe to grind against Woody who has no idea what the hell he's doing. He's got all sort. His son's involved. We got all sorts of stupid nonsense coming out about like leaks and Sala this and Douglas that and Brick Johnson runs the
I
team.
know,
It's so
and
bad.
and that's why when you send me the notes and it's like let's talk about a GM and a coach, it's like who even wants to work with this guy? You know, and they hire the service from their former GMs to help them find the new head coach, the GMs that they fired.
Yeah. Now let me ask you a question here about that, hypothetically. Could this be a Dick Cheney situation where the firm comes back and says, you know what? I'm the best guy for the job. You should hire me.
Uh, I would not be shocked. That is so Jets right there. If McCagnon comes back,
No, I mean
that is
Mr.
classic.
Mr. T, not McCagnon.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I don't know which I forgot which one it was,
Yeah.
but there's just so many.
Yeah.
That would be classic Jets if and that press conference would be a must see TV.
Yeah. That would be, and that seems what Woody cares about, that and the uniforms.
Yeah, that. I mean, I can't wait to see what they have next year. That's the thing I'm really looking forward to most. We got to trade Garrett Wilson. That's number one, right?
Oh, absolutely not.
No, you don't think so?
He is the one guy on this team who has a universal approval rating with the fans and is a top ascendant player. So like I just do whatever he wants, make him happy. Everybody else can just go like F themselves.
I agree with you 100%, but I don't know if we're so far gone that like we're in such a deep hole that whatever we do to make him happy now, it's like, okay, Rodgers is not coming back, but here's our quarterback now. Are you happy with that? He's going to say no, no matter who it is.
Yeah, the thing is though, like I think the Garrett Wilson thing is a great conversation to have real quick. It's I feel like with Garrett Wilson, there's really like two options here to think of. Because the Jets typically have gone down door number one. Is like as soon as a guy's unhappy, get rid of him and try and max out his value. The Jets do not have to do that because Garrett Wilson's under control for next year. He has a team fifth year option, and they can franchise tag him a third year. He's going to sit out 3 full years of football. I don't think so.
That's very true. Three full years, they do have that. Just the problem is that we don't want it to end up in that situation where 3 years from now we're in the same position we are when we didn't get any value out of them, and the Jets are just going to be the Jets.
To be fair, did they get any value out of Darrell Reeves when they traded him?
Yeah, that's a good point. But I mean, at the end of the day, I just don't know because the Jets are going to suck next year too, and the year after that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And speaking of the Jets sucking here, gotta talk about this Jets Bills game first because obviously, like, I was fortunate enough to be working during the games. I did not watch, I think, more than the fourth quarter of it. All I saw was like I was keeping track of it on my phone. It went from 9-0 to 40-0 before you could blink. So, what was your big takeaways from
Yeah.
Sunday?
You didn't miss much, I'll say that, especially if you're rooting for the Jets. Rodgers broke a record, but not the record he wanted to. Yeah, the Bills defense, talk about a get right game. We needed to see it out of them because they have been really shaky. I still don't feel great about them just because the Jets are so bad, but that game was the Jets season, the Jets since forever in a nutshell.
Yeah. I think it is Jet season in a nutshell here. And this year came in with such high hopes about, they bring in these big guys. Rodgers is healthy. Oh my God, the Super Bowl is two and we went the big Thursday night win against the Patriots. Everybody's saying, oh, they're back. The same old Jets is dead, so on and so forth. And then the whole dumpster fire happens. And I think to me, the whole season pins down to the fact that the Jets went to London, lost in front of Woody's rich friends. Woody got embarrassed, decided I have to do something, and fired Saleh. And then the whole thing just sort of steamrolled from there. Not that Saleh was great, any great shakes, but I feel like the whole operation came undone when they pulled the plug on him.
1,000%. And sometimes you fire a head coach and you think you're going to get a spark, but they were not in a position to do that. And at least he had control of the defense, which you saw go absolutely downhill once the interim head coach took over. And yeah, the season just really started. It was bleak before that. It's not like the Jets were doing anything incredible, but once that happened, you're absolutely right. The season just completely fell apart into we went from just a classic NFL bad team to just a classic Jets dumpster fire.
Yeah, and to think about that too, when they fired him, they were a game out of first place with Buffalo coming into town on Monday night. So Woody's could not have any patience because he was sitting there with his rich buddies, watched Rodgers fail to win a games. I can't have this. I got to get rid of my coach. And that's the case. Why you even bring him back?
That's what I was saying because at the beginning of the year I was saying why we brought this guy back in the first place because if you have that quick of a trigger finger, then why bring him back?
Yeah, yeah. I think
1,000%.
it makes no sense. Douglas is inevitable. We saw that coming here, and I think that's more discouraging to Jet fans. Like, there's been some good things, like the offensive line looked much better once Tyron Smith got hurt and Fashanu went in the lineup every game. But like, you see guys like Sauce Gardner degraded his play significantly. A lot of the guys like sort of fell off once Salah got fired. You got the DJ Reed comments now this week saying, "Oh, like just get me a free agency. I want to get out of here." We had the whole Hassan Reddick fiasco. Like, there's a lot of guys making business decisions opposed to like actually trying to play for the team.
You took the words right out of my mouth, especially with Sauce. I just see him out there every week where there's just he's missing tackles where it's a clear, very clear business decision where it's like this guy has not lost that much skill. It's just he's not giving 110 out there. And honestly, I can't blame any of these guys. It's just the culture is so screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a wild situation because you look at what the Jets have going on here, and like if you play Madden and you look at the talent in the Jets roster, you play the game like, oh, well, this team should not be as bad as they are, and then you watch them on the field, they don't play as a unit. There's like a bunch of guys who are more interested in me than we.
Oh yeah, they're on paper. This team is a top, at least half team talent wise.
Yeah.
Even now, with all the injuries and whatnot that's happened, I still would say that they're so talented. But I mean, that's you saw that with like that Philly superstar team back in the day, and
Yeah.
you see it all the time. Like paper doesn't matter
Oh,
sometimes. It's like especially when you put a culture like that out there.
oh yeah, the Vince Young Dream Team.
Exactly. Yeah, with the Asamoah and whoever else was there.
Yeah. That was a mess here. And obviously now they're in the midst of dueling GM and head coach searches here, which Woody, again, you mentioned before, has hired Mr. T and Rick Spielman, the 33rd team, to be his consultants. And we see him do a bunch of things. Corn Ferry gave them John Idzik, Charlie Casserly, and Ron Wolf gave them Mike McCagnon. Christopher hired Adam Gase. Gase brought in Joe Douglas. Douglas hired Salah. So, like,
Why
they've
are
got
you
a bunch
doing
of different
this?
ways.
Why are you making me cry on your podcast?
They've got a bunch of different ways. Nothing seems to go right here. Like, is there like any world where they don't screw this up?
No, zero chance. I think we said it earlier. I wouldn't be shocked if one of those guys are making their return back to MetLife. I mean, there's I'd say a 2% chance.
Yeah, that they don't screw it up.
Of course.
Yeah. So the thing that scares me already is like I get that, like, first of all, I don't think Mike Vrabel's gonna come here. I think Mike Vrabel is using the Jets to get the better interest of somebody else, whether it's Ohio State or New England or the Raiders or whoever. I think Vrabel's using the Jets 100%.
Oh, no doubt about it. And I mean that's my target is Robinson as the GM candidate, just because he has ties to Vrabel. If there's any hope for that, obviously that's what I'm rooting for. But there's no doubt about it. Vrabel wants to go to a team with a quarterback.
Yeah. And
And the
I
Jets are so far from that. It's crazy.
mean, technically they have one, but I don't think he's going to be here beyond this season.
But do they have a quarterback?
Well, they have one under contract who's a future Hall of Famer, but he's not played like one.
He's a future Hall of Famer for sure, but that's based off way in the past, not what he did with the Jets.
Yeah. And let me throw the other scary thing out here. I do not like the fact that Rex Ryan's getting an interview for this job here because this feels entirely like Woody Johnson, trying to say, well, it'll make the fans happy. And then you have the idiot contingent of the fandom. It's like I'm not gonna say name names. There's a bunch of people saying, oh, like the Jets miss Rex. Rex was so good when he was here. People don't realize that Rex really coasted off of the teams that Mangini built and took them to distances. Then when he was really in charge, they sort of fell off the map, and they never recovered from Santonio Holmes leaving the Hull of Miami at the end of 2011. And Rex Ryan's been out of the game since 2016, 2017. Like, I want a guy's been out of the league for 8, 9 years, has been on television running my team.
1,000%. I wasn't a fan of hearing about any of those interviews. Just the game's probably passed him by, and like you said, he's not really a great team builder, and he's not really an excellent X's and O's guy. He's a great defensive guy, but outside of that, I'm at the point now where outside of Vrabel, if they're willing to go down the Vrabel road, if that ever happens, and I'm not jinxing this until after and saying that it won't. Anybody else? I want an offensive guy, please.
Would you poke the John Gruden like fires here?
I mean, yeah, he's over. Well, I guess he's in Chicago with the Barstool guys, but has he done enough rehabilitation?
I don't know. I feel like that's one that Woody wouldn't touch.
Yeah, I Woody's got enough going on.
Yeah, and Woody's hiring type has also been something that I've talked about on the pod before. Like, when in doubt, bank on the Jets hiring a first-time defensive coordinator, head coach. There's no concept of how to run an offense. So this is why I think my favorite for the job is going to be Aaron Glenn because it's going to be defensive coordinator, hasn't been a head coach before, ties to the Jets. He played here back in the day, and like that was something Woody will tell the fans. Like, oh look, he's coming home to save us.
I don't want to hear stuff like that, but I'm not going to sit here and argue with you and tell you that you're wrong. I'm just rooting heavily against that.
Yeah, because I mean, look at the history of his hires: Herm, Mancini, Rex, Bowles, Sala. Like the only exception was Gase, who got sold to Christopher Johnson by Peyton Manning's phone call.
Yep, I know he was the only offensive guy, and I mean it sucks because now Johnson feels like he's burned by that, and he just got the worst one ever.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And like we saw this happening here. They do have an opportunity here to play spoiler this week against Miami in Week 18, which is interesting here because now we have to wait till 4:25 for the final Jet game because the Jets win, they can knock Miami out of the playoffs. If Miami beats them and Denver loses to Casey's backups, they're in here. Is there any shot the Jets actually try in this game? I think this is a walkover.
I looked today, and there's still no word on whether or not Tyrod is going to start. I just think it all kind of relies on that. If Rodgers comes out here and plays again, I'm going to take the Dolphins. Honestly, I don't really care what the spread is, and I don't even know if two is playing. I don't think they've said that yet. But I think Tyrod could actually give them a spark, and maybe they could have like an FU moment, like kind of like they did in the fourth quarter against Buffalo.
Yeah. Like I'm telling you, as somebody who's watched the Jets for a long time, you agree with me. This is the kind of game they'll win just to piss us off.
The Giants had their version last week, and the Jets will have it this week, and we'll go from where are we sitting, like 8 right now at the pick,
I think they're 6.
6. We'll jump to like 9 or 10,
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah, a lot of fun here. We'll see if the Giants can actually get themselves back in the top pick with some help this week. But we'll get to the pick, which is the reason why you're here. Nick Friado, I talked to you about off the air last week, came on the holiday special to do the NFL picks. He had a tough week. He went 1-2. He had the Rams laying 5.5 on Saturday. They ended up losing the game. I ended up winning the game by 4, so he doesn't cover there. He did the Cowboys plus 9.5. Be fair to him, though, we recorded on Monday to try and get in ahead of the Christmas game, so he did not know that CeeDee Lamb and everybody else was going to sit, so lost there. His win was the Bengals, though. They win in overtime, so 1-2 for Nick last week.
Okay. Listen, as long as you don't go zero,
Yeah, yeah, no offers.
no offers, please God. But I would like to go above 500. A sweep would be pretty cool too.
Yeah, that speaking of the sweeps, that's what happened to me last week.
Look at you.
3-0 last week. I took the Chiefs on Christmas Day, laying the 2.5. They blew out the Steelers. I went prime time the rest of the way. Lions minus 3.5 on Monday night. They win the game running away. Commanders minus 4 overtime win. 3-0 for me on the week.
Good for you, man. Congratulations. You got a record above 500.
Yeah,
It's a good year.
I had a strong year this year. I'm 29, 21, and 1. I had a push in week 1. They've been carrying the whole season. And the challenger team is 25 and 26. I clinched the regular season, but there's still time to get the overall crown if when the playoffs are factored in. So we'll see if you can make up some ground.
I'm gonna try my best, man. This is probably my worst year gambling ever, and I'm blaming it on getting married during football season.
Well, I don't have the marriage excuse. I feel like this is my worst fantasy football year because like the Met playoff thing sort of took my focus away in the middle of October. My team was falling apart.
That's fair. No, hey, listen, anything, I'll make up any excuse to not blame myself.
Yeah, it's not. It's never our fault.
Never is. Never is. All right,
Uh,
you ready for some picks?
yeah, let's do some picks here. As the guys, you can go first. Where are you going with pick number one?
Pick number one. Ravens still have something to play for this week, seeding wise. They're minus 17 and a half against Cleveland, but have you seen Dorian Thompson Robinson play?
He's pretty bad.
One 1 to 10 touchdown to interception ratio career. I think it might have gone up to 1 to 11. I'm not quite sure. He's got a chance here to bring it back. Maybe get the percentages up. I don't know if there's like a Canadian Football League out there looking, but good luck to him. I'm taking the Ravens minus 17 and a half. I think that they're going to run it up.
So you're laying the big wood.
I'm laying the big one here. Why not?
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Like this is a spot here where like if the Ravens don't win by like 3 touchdowns in this kind of game when they're home and have a division on the line, makes you wonder about their playoff prospects.
Exactly. I think that they're going to go out and put it all on the line. And honestly, the MVP race is still kind of open. So Lamar can got to run it up here.
That's with Josh Allen sitting out this week in all likelihood. He has a chance to make the close the gap a little.
Exactly. 100%. That's what I'm going with here. And I think there might be a defensive touchdown or two. Even though their secondary is shaky, Humphreys is opportunistic.
Yeah, we're going to pick two.
Pick number two, I am going with the Seattle Seahawks. The Rams have already clinched their playoff, and the Seahawks, I just think their defense is playing really well, and the Rams have not looked good lately. So I think the Seahawks, even though they're eliminated from playoff contention, I'm going to take them with the 4.5. I'm taking all favorites this week.
Yeah, this is an interesting spot here too because this is game. I think the first time like Seahawks blew that game late against the Rams at the big touchdown to Marcus Robinson to win the game here. Here's the thing to see here because the Rams will know by 4:30 like if they can have to play for the 3 seed because the NFC South will be done. Way it stands basically is if Tampa wins, they have to play for the 3. If it's Atlanta, they don't. So that's the way of interesting to see how that factors into the Rams motivations here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm just going with the fact that the Seahawks have gotten healthier over the last couple of weeks. And I just think that they're going to be able to get pressure. And the Rams offense is not rolling right now going into the playoffs.
All right, let's pick two. We're going to pick three.
Pick number three, I'm taking Green Bay. They're another team that has something to play for, minus 9.5 against Chicago. Chicago has quit, unfortunately. It's tough to see. And Caleb is absolutely running for his life. And the Packers have something to play for. I think they're going to get after it. And they beat bad teams. I mean, if you look at the Packers' schedule this year, they've lost to teams that are better than them, and they smoke teams that they're better than.
Yeah, great logic here. Plus, as you said with the Bears, I don't think it's been easier in the history of the league to find a play that broke a team like the Hail Mary broke the Bears.
Exactly. I think their season did a complete 180 flip on that one. The Bears fans were feeling good, and now I feel like us as Jets fans, we have quite a kinship to the Bears.
Yeah, that's with all our quarterback woes.
Exactly. That's what I'm looking at right there.
Although we'll see if the Bears ruin Caleb Williams. Like the Jets have ruined so many guys, and we've seen this year.
Yeah. Not the Bears don't quite have the level of ineptitude as the Jets right now, but I'm looking at them over there. I see you guys. I see what you're doing.
Yeah, speaking of the ineptitude here, like remember a couple of weeks ago, like we had the ex-Jets quarterback extravaganza, I think in week 16, where you had the Vikings and Seahawks with Geno Smith against Sam Darnold in Seattle with Mark Sanchez on the call.
Do you think there's any chance the Jets even talk to Sam Darnold in this free agency?
He'll never come back here.
I wouldn't. I'm just saying, do you think they even kick the tires?
I think they'll pick up the phone. I don't think he'll answer.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah. All right. So those are your picks on the board. My picks now here. I'm going to start off here. Pick number one. I'm going to go to Saturday night. We'll go over both Saturday games. I'm going to take the Bengals laying the point against the Steelers in Pittsburgh here. I have been very down on the Steelers this year. I think they're overrated. I don't think they are very good. They've been fading down the stretch here. Cincinnati's red hot. They have won, four in a row to get themselves 4-8 into a position where they get the right help. They can get in the playoffs. Joe Burrow is hot. They're going to regret losing the games early in the year, but I think when they play, they know they're still be alive. They can give it an all-out effort here. If you're right about Baltimore here, Pittsburgh, I don't think it's going to go as hard for this, knowing that the difference is, the 5 seed versus division title. I think the Bengals come out with more desperation, more urgency to win this football game. So Bengals laying the point, first pick.
I like that pick, man. Joey Burr. If this team had a better year, I think he might have run away with the MVP award the way he's playing.
Yep. So that's pick one here. Pick two. You know they're going to do this. I'm going to take the New York Jets, getting a point and a half at home against the Dolphins here. Miami in the cold is very, very bad. We've seen this over the years that Tua does not like cold weather. We don't know if he's playing yet. This is a typical Jets spot, too, where the Jets look at this and say, let's ruin our draft just a little bit. Everybody, nobody's going to be here. Let's stick it to the next guys here, get a win, boost our own resumes we have out the door. You heard the rumors say that Rodgers and Devontae Adams are on the way out because Woody hates both of them. So I think they're going to stick it to the old man, win this game here, lower than the Jets draft position, and knock the Dolphins out of the playoffs here. So I'm going to go with the Jets, screwing everybody's hopes and dreams here on the first Sunday of the new year. So pick two.
I stared at that pick for a long time. I mean, you might as well just lock it in. Bet the house on it.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead and take all the money you got for Christmas presents and just invest in the Jets on Sunday.
Yeah, because this is the biggest lock. They never win, but this one they will.
All right, pick two. Pick number three. NFC South on the line. I think the Bucks laying 13.5 against the Saints here. Tampa Bay is playing very well down the stretch. They had that strange thing about Dallas, but Baker's been hot. They score the ball well. There is no shot in hell the Saints show up for this football game. They're not going to play Derek Carr because they, decided to cut him for injury reasons here. They have a lot of guys hurt. Tampa has everything on the line. Won less than 2 touchdowns, but I think this game's a blowout early. They put this to bed by halftime here. Tampa covers with big numbers. I'll lay some big wood too, 13.5 of the Bucks.
As long as Baker takes care of the football and doesn't turn it over, it should be a 2-touchdown game.
All right, so to reset the picks for week 18, Tom is taking the Ravens, laying 17.5, biggest number of the season so far against the Browns on Saturday. The Seahawks laying 4.5 against the Rams in LA. And the Packers laying 9.5 against Chicago here. My picks: the Bengals laying the 1 against the Steelers on Saturday. The Bucks laying 13.5 against the Saints on Sunday. And the one dog from both of us, New York Football Jets, getting a 1.5 at home against Miami here. Those are your picks for Week 18. Wrap up the regular season. We'll be back next week doing Super Wildcard Weekend, picking all 6 games with Bucks fan Charlie Borders Jr. And hopefully, for his sake, his team is there and does not choke this away.
Good luck to the Bucks.
Yeah, I think they'll get the job done.
I do too. I mean, I'm Baker. Shout out to Baker, man. I'm so happy for him. Fantasy wise, too. He was an absolute stud this year.
Yeah, and the funny thing about Baker, too, I was just thinking about this here. We talk about the Jets quarterback woes. There was a point 2 years ago where the Carolina Panthers had Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold on their roster and let both of them go.
I know. I'm hoping that we have a revolution in the NFL where it's called patience. Let's just have some patience with these quarterbacks.
Yeah, well, part of it also involves hiring the right coaches, which the Jets and Panthers
Yep.
can't even do.
Well, I mean, like you said, and we're about to step right back into it again because the odds are they're going to hire an inexperienced defensive coach.
Yeah, and if that happens, your only hope is that he hires the right offensive guy.
And he won't.
Well, the Jets have done this though. LaFleur showed promise with the Jets, but when he's not coaching Zach Wilson, then Woody just made Saleh fire him.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't, that's one of the ones where I don't blame him, honestly. I think that was more of an environment than him.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was more of an issue where like Zach Wilson was so dysfunctional, and Woody was insisting on making Zach Wilson work. Saying, you know what, I have his best. I'm going to fire the coordinator and see if I can change this. And their solution was, let's hire Nathaniel Hackett, who can't run plays like Aaron Rodgers, and hope to get Aaron Rodgers. And that started this whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah. There's always a sliding doors with the Jets. We can look back at a million of them. We could do like a whole pod series if you want to do Jets sliding doors moments. I'm in for that.
Yeah, we should definitely do that at some point too. That'd be more of a your pod idea than my pod idea.
All right, listen, we'll have you on. Me and you will do Jets. We'll make Sean host it. We'll do little Jets sliding doors in the off season when it
The
warms up.
Yeah, that ultimate sliding doors moment, beating the Rams in 2020 starts everything.
Yeah. Oh my God. Geez, this pod might be too depressing, dude. I might have to hire like a second therapist.
Yeah, you just got to bring the alcohol with you when you do that one.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Tom, thanks for all the time. Really appreciate it. People want to check out what you guys are up to on the Sorry to Interrupt podcast. How can I do that?
Sorry to interrupt on all podcast platforms, wherever you get it. Follow us on Twitter at Sorry Sports and newly to TikTok. We're throwing stuff up quick, fast, and in a hurry. That's at Sorry_Sports.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fun to check out their clips because these guys have a lot of fun banter on the podcast. Unlike me, who's a solo host, is like you guys have like 4 or 5 different guys running through every week.
Yeah, yeah. We got myself and Sean are the main guys, and then Will. We got him coming on for some college football, and then my buddy Redo is just whatever he comes on, he just ruins everything. He talks about whatever he wants, but it's a lot of fun.